Hello everyone and welcome to, I'm Ollie, and as part of Bournemouth Meditation we do a lot of breathwork classes and meditation classes, and what I wanted to talk you through today is to work out how efficient your breathing is. There's a lot we can do with this, so if we consider this like a 101 of efficient breathing, then you can find out a little bit about how you breathe, and then we can talk about what we can do to improve that. So to begin, I would like to start just by breathing rather than talking too much. I'd like you to get yourself in a comfortable position, lying down, seated, whatever works for you. And then closing your eyes, one hand on your heart, one hand on your lower belly. I'd like you just to spend some time breathing. So as you're breathing now, I'd like you to feel from the top of your thumb by the heart all the way down to the lower finger of that palm, and then the thumb and the lower finger of the other palm, the lower one on the belly. If this was like piano keys, as you breathe in, we're interested in whether your piano plays from the top to the bottom, whether it plays from the bottom finger up to the top, and also perhaps it's just the top hand, for me left hand dominant, or upper chest or chest breathing, or whether it's lower belly breathing or diaphragmatic breathing. So allowing your eyes to close, slow yourself down a little. And we're just interested, as you breathe, what is the wave of your breath? And you continuing to do so, I'd like to tell you a little bit about each of the different breaths. So if you are a chest breather, so that top palm lifts, and in particular the lower palm really wouldn't move so much. I notice most people breathe like this. This is quite inefficient breathing. It's not necessarily wrong or bad. We will always need to breathe up, particularly if you're doing exercise. An anxious breath tends to be quite chest breathing. But if we're restricted or we're using the abdominal muscles quite strongly, then a chest breath is very natural. But should you be breathing now seated and restful, well, this is quite an inefficient breath. And what's happening here is, if you can imagine, where an efficient breath, the most efficient, energy, least intensive way of breathing is diaphragmatic breathing. This dome muscle here it contracts and domes downwards and then naturally kind of recoils and comes back up. Chest breathing is where we use the wrong intercostal muscles, the muscles in the ribs. It also uses some neck muscles. You see that kind of sticking out thing going on. We use some trapezius muscles where there's a bit of shoulders lifting and dropping down. And if you could imagine, if you needed to lift, I don't know, this laptop, an efficient breath would sort of lift it, and you notice my shoulder kind of stays quite down. An inefficient one would be where I'm like using my whole body to kind of press and lift it up. It's like, I can do it, but I'm using a lot more than I need to. And particularly if we're unwell or have respiratory disorder, and particularly also as we get older, we really don't want to be doing this. We just want to be as efficient as we can, and it means effortlessness in our breathing. So that is chest breathing. If that is you, in a moment we'll come up to exercises that you can do to really help that. Belly breathers. So if you are a belly breather, if you feel that lower hand sort of drop and relax and exhale and release, well, I know for myself it's like, ooh, a little bit smug. I'm a belly breather. It isn't necessarily the best breath all the time. And also you'll notice there are certain types of belly breathers or belly breathing where you inhale down and it really, I don't know, the word I might use is sort of collapses the abdomen, and we have different diaphragmatic structures that work up. And if we just breathe down and nothing comes up here, our breath is a really big part of our lymphatic system and in our circulation. So a breath that kind of waves, creates a ripple from the base all the way up to the top is a really beautiful thing, and we see that in babies. Not a huge fan of comparing beautiful breathing to baby breathing. Very different bodies going on there. But what we really notice in a baby is they inhale, there's a kind of extension, a opening of the whole of the body, and then an exhale, a relaxing but a flexion, I guess, of the spine. So if you find yourself purely belly at rest, it's fine. But if you find yourself always just purely belly and never really allowing the breath up here, again, that can really not serve us very well in other aspects of our life. So in this first tutorial of how efficient is my breathing, just tune in for yourself at my chest and my belly, and perhaps I'm a intermix of the two. So having done that, let's give you some exercises that you can use to improve, but we're talking really make very efficient your breathing in such a way that it is pure pleasure. So the first exercise I'd like you to do is, we'll lie down actually. You can have a pillow if your head, make sure I get myself in the right position. Let me change this. Okay. So if you find, so another one-on-one of breathing, if you find yourself lying down and this sort of thing happening where the chest is up and the neck is sort of contracted, then by putting a pillow underneath the head, it kind of drops down. So that's a really lovely thing to allow yourself to do. For my own body, I used to be like that, but the more work you do, the softer the spine gets, the more the curves of your spine just relax. Then you'll notice the front stays open, but also the back stays open. So placing a hand, careful of my microphone, hand on your heart, hand on the lower belly, shuffle a little bit to get comfortable. So just begin in this lying down position, if you weren't lying down already. Noticing your breath, okay. For those that already here, like, done, done this already. Okay, so exercise number 1. We're going to control the breath so that it comes into the chest only. It looks like this. And exhale. So practice it for yourself. Next exercise, lower belly only. Well done. Next exercise. Now, as we do this, if it feels too much, if you get lightheaded, then sort of rest, maybe pause the video for a little bit. It just means that your body's not used to processing and clearing so much carbon dioxide. Right, next exercise is a wave. So we're going to wave from the lower body all the way up to the top. And what we're doing is getting where those accentuated muscles are working in the upper and then in the lower. Now we're sort of connecting the two. I sort of see puzzle pieces coming together and seamlessly waving the breath up. So again, hand on heart, hand on the belly. And the wave looks like this. I sort of shake a little bit. I can feel a lot of tension in that wave, trying too hard. Inhale. So you really allow, I sort of wiggle the lower finger, wake up the muscles in the lower belly. So I breathe into that spot. And then breathe into the fourth, third, second thumb. And then suddenly you'll feel, oh yeah, that's there. And then the baby finger of the top palm. And then the fourth, third, second, right up at the top, and exhale. Okay, that was better. So 3 more on your own. This is a beautiful breath. I might just fall asleep on camera. Okay, a few more on your own as I talk you through this one. Remember, on each breath, if you like, you can tap the fingers. What we're doing is sort of saying, hello, hello, wake up nervous system, wake up the muscles, wake up all the tissues in the abdomen and in the chest. The whole area we need to breathe. Our lungs are very much in the chest, and they sit a little bit back from, you might think it's right, you've got a lot of muscles and bone here, so it's a little bit more further back towards the spine than you might imagine. But we need to create that space in the abdomen to allow that diaphragm to drop, but also that wave is really important to find that efficient, effortless breath. Okay, now the final, so many things we could do. So we'll do a few videos of this. But then the last, I want to challenge you a little bit to breathe. How do I want to do this? Lower belly. We're going to wave up to the top. And then we're going to chest first, then down to the belly. So I'm going to repeat that with my hands. Inhale, lower all the way up and then to the chest. But then chest first, and then the belly is the last to exhale. A little bit of breath gymnastics, as I call it. Okay, so when you're ready. Then leave the belly, and then chest first. Then the belly. Repeat. Belly stays where it is. Up at the top, thumb, ribbon it down. Last one. Belly stays up. Return to natural breathing. Shake out the body a little bit. And then you can stay here. I'm going to sit up. But what I really would invite you to do as I amend my camera is in that lying down position. Shuffle, sort of shake a little bit. Let your arms go and just come back into natural breathing. And what we're interested in, what do I feel? What do I notice in my breath? The thing about breathing is we're not looking for perfection. A lot of breath work can be quite manipulative in terms of what we're doing. But always it isn't to be permanently manipulative. It's about letting go afterwards and letting the sustenance of breath do what it needs to do. And doing all these exercises is a means to wake up and bring that nourishment so the body can really relax in its breathing and find that efficiency. So for you now, how does it feel? What do you notice? For myself, it feels well, I almost want to say that I'd like to go to sleep. I don't feel sleepy, it's restful. I could imagine something very stressful coming my way and me being like, perhaps being less aggravated by it. So, well, hey, those are the joys of breath. Anyway, that is the first of what we'll do to enable the efficiency of your breathing. Thank you very much for joining today. If you have any questions, this is new for us, this channel, Bournemouth Meditations. We'll be doing lots of breathing exercises, breathing meditations, and a few interviews and things like that. So you are very welcome to it. We'd love to hear from you. Any questions, any problems with these? If you find yourself like you tend to get that or almost a shaking or a sort of tremoring, all wonderful. Don't worry about it if that happens. And none of the breaths we've done today are going to hurt you, whether you're pregnant or mental health issues, anything like that. Some breaths can be quite impactful. These wonderful, lovely, exploratory breaths. So thank you very much for joining me today. And I look forward to seeing you again. Oh, and if you know anyone that would benefit from these videos, please feel free to share them. We really value people hearing about our work, but also getting the benefits of breath.